Confirm or deny, the Maple Leafs should sign Bobby McMahon, Scott Laughton, and Troy Stecher to extensions. All three get an extension.
Wow. All three. I'm going to have to start on this one, and I am going to deny on all three. I think Troy Stecher, I love his energy. If he wants to sign something to kind of be... Look, as good as he's played, I'm sure people need to understand this, or they do understand this, that he is a guy, and it just happens with every organization he goes to. He comes in, he plays well, and you don't fall in love, but you're like, man, this guy's awesome. He can skate, he can move the puck, and then come a playoff series, he doesn't play. So there's a reason for it, right? Like, if he wants to sign some kind of depth contract where, I don't know, he is one of those guys who's in and out of the lineup, I'd have no problem with it. Scotty Laughton, and a lot of people have complaining about the first-round pick. He's played damn well the last couple months. I really like the way he's played. What number he gets to, I don't know. Bobby McMahon, same thing. You want to pay Bobby McMahon $5 million on a long-term deal? If that's something you want to do, I don't know. There's some inconsistencies there where he winds up on the fourth line and you wonder what you got, and you're still paying him $5 million. So, I don't know. If there's inconsistencies at the age of 30 where you go up and down the lineup and your offense disappears for a while, that's kind of what you are. But if you believe that it's worth $5 million to it and you need that roster spot filled by Bobby McMahon making 5 sheets, then that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I'm going to deny it too. I'm with O-Dog. Like, there's a lot of question marks about all three of these guys, right? And look, Scotty Laughton's been great of late, but didn't give him what they hoped he'd give him in the playoffs last year after spending the first-round pick that everybody talks about as a very expensive price. McMahon, to me, he's the ultimate in terms of a coach's nightmare in some ways, because he's been up and down the lineup. He's been in and out of the doghouse throughout his career in Toronto. If you're going to get him at value, at which you perceive as value, given the fact he can score goals, given the fact he does have speed, I mean, you get it. But to your point, O-Dog, like, I'm not overpaying, and I'm not rushing to overpay a guy like that. And Stetcher's in the same boat. Like, Stecher was a guy on waivers, and as MJ said, like, he overachieved out of the gate here, on his what he thought was maybe his last NHL chance. But it's difficult to sustain that. You got to be careful what you spend on it.
Yeah, it's a deny around the table, and I think Stetcher's the odd man out here. The other two guys, like McMahon, is a product of the Maple Leafs. Came up through the system. Was a Marley, came out of nowhere. Remember, he had that hat trick that one game when I think Tavares got sick. He wasn't even supposed to play, and then he's never really looked back. I would be okay with keeping Bobby McMahon. I would negotiate diligently, though.
Yes.
Like, there's no, hey, we love you. Okay, what are you thinking? Fine, we'll give it to you. Like, that is a real back and forth.
You know what he's thinking, though, Brian? He's thinking, I'm 30, I'm going to cash. And why shouldn't he?
Possibly. And and maybe he will, but maybe he won't. Maybe he gets to the offseason and there's not the market that he thinks because he's 30, and at times he plays on the fourth line, like you pointed out. So, if I'm the Leafs, I'm pushing for not a hometown discount, but I'm trying to win that negotiation. The same thing with Laughton. Like, Laughton's not a young guy. Laughton's a fourth-line player on this team. Like, you got to be reasonable. I like him a lot. I think he's played really well. I think he's been good. I like his kind of attitude, his approach. I like that he plays with some fire. I think he's got a different kind of personality on the ice that holds a lot of value here. But he's playing like 12 minutes a night.
Yeah.
There's only so much you're willing to give in to grant him that extension. And Stecher is a classic example of only in Toronto. Like, you mentioned it, I think, last week when we were talking about Matthews and his comments to Masters about Marner, and we disagreed with how he handled that. But you said this is the kind of thing in Carolina you'd never. Here's another example. A guy plucked off waivers is not talking extension 6 weeks later in Carolina.
That is complete Joe from the Bridge fabrication / build-up, and it's insane.
It's crazy.
Dude, you know what people say in Carolina
it.
about a guy that's picked off waivers? They're like, I can't wait until this guy's gone.
Yeah, more or less.
Have to watch him again.
Probably.
Here, it's extension.
Yes, it's insanity, and it's a sign of the market that it's even a conversation. Troy an extension, unless it's a two-way.
Here's what it's also a sign of. It's a sign that they have no defensive depth.
Well,
all the guys, like, we said at the beginning of the year they had 6 guys, and number 7 ain't pretty, right? And
no,
so
it's not.
That's why Troy Stetcher's here.
Valid, and I think it might be a sign of possibly the future of Chris Tanev,
right.
And the concerns about his future and what could be happening with him, and what's going to happen with him. We don't know, but there is some concern there. I get that, but at some point, hopefully, Danford is a guy that's prepared to play right shot defenseman on the right side.
Well, if he was, he'd be in.
Yeah, I mean he's in junior right now, but I know what you mean. Like he would be a guy they would pencil and say or he would have made the team maybe.
That's
out of
what
camp.
I mean. If he was ready, if he was even close to ready, he'd be up for consideration.
Possibly,
because that's how desperate they are.
Yes, but I guess the final point on this is if Stetcher was on waivers now, someone else will be on waivers next year,
right?
Or in the summer there'll be a PTO, whatever. All right, moving on here. Confirm and deny. Austin Matthews has been the Maple Leafs MVP this season.
I think I think he is. I'm going to confirm this. You look at William Nylander, there's been injuries, there's been some weird stuff going on. The coach, the yelling match. I get it, his performance has been great, but Austin Matthews had a tough start, but you can't deny what he's done lately. And the best thing that great players do that no one else on the team can do, their worst stretch of 12 games, they still end up with like 5 or 7 goals or something where they're not completely out of range of. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like as bad as they are, they almost hold the fort down as far as production goes. And then when they catch up and get into form, they just completely destroy everything. He's playing great right now.
Yeah, he is.
He is no question their MVP.
I'm going to deny it because it's recency bias. Like lately, he's been really good. I agree with you. He's been back to something very close to the Austin Matthews we came to know as a guy who was in the running for Hart Trophy, as a guy who you could pencil in as a favorite to win the Rocket Richard. But let's not forget, he was very slow out of the gate here, and that's contributed to the fact that the Maple Leafs still are outside of the playoff picture looking in. Like the first 20 plus games of the season, I think the MVP was probably Nylander. And the fact that he's obviously been, hitting some obstacles here with injuries, that's changed things. But Nylander's still their leading scorer. If you look at the kind of the whole broad picture of the season, when Matthews was kind of snoozing out of the gate, Nylander was the guy carrying them offensively. So I don't think you wouldn't want to vote on MVP yet. Would be my point. But if I had to vote on it today, I would deny it.
Well, it's interesting. Matthews played 6 more games than Nylander, and he's 6 points behind him.
Yeah.
Yet he scored 8 more goals. He's averaging, more than 2 minutes a night on ice, more than William Nylander. It's, honestly, the tale of 2 seasons. Willie the first 20 games and Austin the last 20 games.
Right.
Where that's why I'm going to deny it, because I'm going to say it's Joseph Woll. I know what he did last night. I didn't love his game the other night. Was it in Vegas? Yeah, in Vegas he didn't play very well. But his, Stolarz, prior to him coming back, it was a mess. And what really turned them around is they started getting goaltending.
Yeah.
And Stolarz, his numbers were really, really bloated. Woll's numbers have been great. Now, they have started to inflate a little bit. Curious who plays tomorrow night. Berube wouldn't say. It leads me to think he's going to play Hildeby.
I'm getting the Stolarz itch, though. For a while, I was like, you can sit and watch because it's just a frustrating injury. Nobody knew what the hell was wrong with them. I was like, that's the cost of doing business in the big leagues, man. You can sit there and wait and rot on the bench or in the stands, but now I'm kind of worried about the other two, and I'm like, I need some Stolarz action here. Maybe he's the tonic that can get them, get them through a stretch here, because that's what they're going to need. They might need all 3 of these guys coming down the stretch to give them 10-day segments at a time.
I think you're right. People talk about, you got goaltending as a position of strength. You should trade a goalie. I'm like, the minute you trade one of these guys, you're going to be wishing you didn't, because one of them's going to get hurt, and then you're going to be going down to the Marlies for your backup, and you're going to be saying, why did we get rid of a really good threesome here? Because we need all 3.
Yeah. Well, and we were going to do this last week, our list of the MVPs, and I think I would have Woll at 1. I'd have Ekman Larson pretty high.
I know,
great.
No kidding.
He's
really easily good. Their best defenseman,
and he plays every night. He's played every single game. Only him and Tavares have played every game. So he's been available to you. He's up to 31 points. He plays basically 21 minutes a night. Defensively, is it perfect? No, but neither is anyone else.
Oh, not even close.
Neither is anyone else.
But he plays with heart.
Yes.
He's accountable.
He fights around the net. Exactly. Like Ekman Larson, I think I'd go Woll 1, maybe Ekman Larson 2, and then Matthews or Willie
Dude,
would
what's
be
wrong with
3-4.
you? Matthews, Wall and Ekman Larson ahead of Austin Matthews?
It's possible.
Dude,
Hey,
you
man.
said some dumbass stuff around here,
Dude,
but
Austin, the first 25 games, he was brutal based on his standards. You can't deny it. He was awful the first 25 games.
Before Christmas, like we were all saying, he's not what he was.
He
We're
looked
only seeing
awful.
flashes of what we should be seeing. Like, where is he?
Yes, he's been phenomenal. The last 12 games, 15 games, he's been the best player, the most valuable player, without question. He's been phenomenal.
Well, how about this? At least the first month and a half, he was putting his gear on, and I'm not criticizing Wall for not putting, but he wasn't even around.
Sure enough. Okay. Okay, then take Wall out of it. Ekman Larson, like, where do you stand on Ekman Larson? The guy plays every night. He plays hard every night.
Okay,
and
it's
he gives
pretty
them big
pathetic
minutes.
if you're just going to say because the guy plays hard, he's the MVP.
I agree it is, but it's an example of why they're in the position they're in right now.
It stands out.
This is even a conversation. And I think it's a reasonable one, but it speaks to why they are where they are. Matthews has been phenomenal recently. He's been unbelievable. And if he didn't have the start he had, he'd be way up in points and goals and MVP chases. He wouldn't be maybe in the McDavid-McKinnon chat, but he would be right behind them.
But that's why you're paying him what you're paying him, because he's supposed to be the no-brainer MVP of the team.
Yes. Right, you're supposed to. And Willie's supposed to be right there with him.
Yeah.
All right, confirm or deny. Josh Allen will win a Super Bowl before Patrick Mahomes wins another one.
Man, recency bias, like, it's hard to say yes right now. It's hard to say yes with what's going on and who knows what the roster looks like. And I told you guys, there's some quarterbacks that are going to get off the mat and have something to say next year. And they'll be like starving hungry.
See, Eric Bieniemy's back in Kansas City. That's an
Watch
interesting hire.
out, dude.
It's an interesting
Watch
hire.
out.
That's a connection with Mahomes.
That's right. They went to the guy that said, let's bring the Mahomes master back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'd have to deny it, unfortunately, right? Like, it just doesn't feel like you just saw something that didn't make any sense to anybody for the GM to be promoted after a season like that, for the coach to get fired when he's beloved in the locker room, and it didn't appear to be a coaching issue. Like, it felt like that was their chance. This season was their chance to do it before Mahomes did it again, and they missed it.
Yeah, I am concerned about Bean moving up. Like, it feels like there's a Terry Pegula.
Like, they lose, the coach gets fired, Hayes, and they said to Bean, "You're not the GM anymore. You're the president." Or explain the move up that he made.
Well, he basically got a new title. He didn't really get. He was GM and now he's president of football operations.
Right.
So is he
GM.
still the GM?
Yes. So basically, he went from. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, he just got an extra title, probably more money, and I suppose more power. Although obviously Pegula has the last call on everything. So,
but from what you read in the reporting out of Buffalo, it's essentially like he has Pegula's ear.
Yes,
and in a way that him and McDermott were kind of competing for it. The head coach also had Pegula's ear, but clearly if there was a power struggle, or if Pegula had to choose between who was at fault here and who did he trust more, he chose Bean. And that's why McDermott's no longer working.
That one guy gets fired and the one other guy gets elevated. Yeah. I find that to be crazy.
And that doesn't give me a good feeling, O-Dog, that these guys are on the precipice of winning a Super Bowl next year.
No. Yeah, I worry about Pegula. Like, I have this bookmarked here. Tim Graham wrote a piece in the Athletic about Pegula not knowing about an executive that used to work for the team and now works for the team, and like, that's really concerning stuff. Like, if you got an owner who's like, I'll read it here. Pegula was always miffed by angry fan sentiment that Russ Brandon meddled with football decisions, and once asked me why people think a business executive would have such influence. I said it stemmed from the 3 years Brandon was Bills GM under Ralph Wilson's ownership from 2008 through 10. Pegula pushed back about that being true. He did not know Brandon was once the GM of the team he owned. So, I don't know.
Well, he was the owner at the time, but yeah, you probably should know the rough outline of history.
Probably should know. You're from Buffalo. You claim you're a Bills fan. Yeah. You didn't know the GM of the team. It wasn't back in the 70s.
No.
Anyway, I mean, the point being is Pegula is a Bean guy, and we'll see what comes of it. I want to say, I want to confirm this because I want to believe in Josh Allen. I want to believe in a lot of different things. I want to believe Connor Hellebuck. I want to believe Connor McDavid will win a cup someday. I want to believe that.
Yeah.
I want to believe the Leafs will win a cup at some point in my lifetime. I want to believe that.
Get a long life.
Yeah, I hope. But the problem is you're going up against a guy who's already done it, and it makes it routine to get to the Super Bowl all the time. And Mahomes, if he's in the same position Allen was just in, I believe would have won that game. So it's difficult to do. All right, quickly here. Confirm or deny, Bo Bichette will get booed when he returns to Toronto as a New York Met.
I don't think so. I just don't. I think everybody loved him here, and he didn't leave on bad terms. He just took a bag. I think he'll be cheered Canada Day very heavily. Bo Bichette, and I will be the first one in the stands. Hazy, I'd like you to sit beside me right behind home
I'll be there. I love that he's coming in end of June and July 1st. He'll be here. Probably an afternoon game. Tickets go on sale soon.
Actually,
probably
we won't
not
be there.
cheap.
We'll be working.
We will be working. That's a very valid point. July 1st, we'll be here working. Disregard. Cut that from the podcast, Doogie.
Yeah, I'd love to deny it 100%. I still think, this isn't Jerry's percentage, I still think I would deny it like 80%. I still think there'll be boos. It won't be the full stadium booing him, but there's people who will resent the fact, there are people who do resent the fact that, he wanted to leave and take a bag,
Okay.
I think the people always resent when athletes leave after they were homegrown. And as good as he was, as clutch as he was, I mean, clearly, the money was the motivator here, and I think most of the world nowadays doesn't hold that against people. Like, you got to go get your bag.
But Dave, think about the player though. He was great in Toronto. Yes, he had some injuries the last 2 or 3 years. He had a massive home run in the World Series. He played hurt. He put it all on the line. And as soon as the season is over, they lose the World Series, and all the talk about is about the team you just poured your guts out for, the team you've performed for so many years, and all the chatter is about they want Kyle Tucker. And not one rumbling about Bo Bichette. He's like the secondary option. Wouldn't that piss you off a little bit? If that was me, I would say whoever comes up with the bag, I really hope it's not the Blue Jays because I'm going to stuff it to them.
Well, I think that factors into this too. Like, the reporting's starting to seep out that the Jays weren't really pushing to keep him. So you can't blame Bichette.
No kidding.
Like, if the Jays were like, we're trying to get someone else or other guys, or we don't love the idea of how your body is aging. I don't know what their thinking was. Or, you're going to take at-bats away from other guys if we sign you long-term. I think the Jays have kind of got to own this too. Like, maybe they didn't really want him that badly.
Well, they didn't want him at the numbers he wanted.
Well, that's most certainly
That's what we're talking about here. Yeah. They would have taken him back at the number that they wanted.
Right.
He didn't want the number they wanted.
Sure.
So he got a much bigger number elsewhere.
Yeah.
In a place where, clearly, like, they think he's going to be a third baseman. Well, newsflash there. He'll be getting booed. He'll be getting booed in New York.
Absolutely.
When people realize he ain't a third baseman.
Like, they got Lindor, they got Simeon there. Like, I don't even know how that works with Bichette. But I'm going to deny it too. And I think in large part because he left the American League. He left the American League East. If he was coming in as a Red Sox or a Yankee, all bets are off.
Well, that's a good point.
Totally different story. He's not. He's coming in as a Met.